how are you?
Very well, thank you.
See you. Thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what.
It's a great concept. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's make a cake.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what did you think of the one that I sent you?
Oh, delicious.
Pretty into it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was so easy to make and no drama there at all.
Cool.
I love the fact that even though everything's all sort of got its components together, you're still making the cake. You feel like you've made it, so it's something you've done. Like I say, I made one last night in 8 minutes. It was it's pretty easy.
Yeah, you just said exactly what we were trying to capture. It's like it is a cake mix,
Yep.
so obviously you've got that whole convenience thing, but the fact that your house kind of fills with the smell of baking,
Totally.
and it still looks homemade. You can still say that you made it from
No
scratch.
question.
Then
Yep.
yeah, that's kind of the beauty of it. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you.
And what I love especially is the fact you've even done the little cartouche in the in
for
the packet
lining
as
the
well.
tin.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
The French Café has been a really good customer of ours for a long time. You always order cakes for your staff birthdays and
Totally.
everything. So yeah,
Well, it's a funny thing because we could make them. I mean, don't get us
Absolutely.
wrong, but no one wants to know that their cake is being made in the corner. So it's like, well, I mean, we've got 28 staff, so sometimes we have 2 birthdays a week. So it's just a tradition that we've always done.
yeah,
So
no,
it's cool.
I remember the first order that came through from you guys. I was so excited. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, no pressure, like
And
making.
everyone's got their favourites too.
yeah. Oh, so lovely. All right, well, should we get onto it?
Absolutely.
Then? You know how easy this is
Yep.
because you made it last night, but we'll just make one again from scratch so that we've got a nice fresh cake.
Totally.
I wonder if maybe you should take us through what you're making now, because it sounds like it's probably going to be slightly complicated, or
Well, I don't know whether you're going to be happy or not.
Of course I will be happy.
Some of your cake are completely deconstructed.
Amazing.
But basically, I'm sort of doing a dish that is, one of my favourite sort of components of chocolate. Technically, it's just a chocolate mousse, but it's we put it into a foam gun and we aerate it to give a little bit of
Wow.
foam. I've taken half of your cake and actually dehydrated it and turned it into a soil
gosh.
to give some texture, because I love textures, I love temperatures.
Yep.
And so it's chocolate in lots of little different forms. But
Amazing.
what I love about your cake is it's not too sweet, because there has to be a right balance between desserts. I think if they're not sweet enough, they just don't satisfy. But
Yeah.
if they're too sweet, they just overdo it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't have an overly sweet tooth, but I like my desserts just to be sweet enough. There's a lot of movement now for that sort of bringing vegetables and things into desserts, and not adding
yeah.
so much sugar and stuff like that in whatever the sugar form it is in.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I just don't think they hit the mark. But this certainly
They
does.
don't quite satiate.
No.
Yeah, I like this cake because it's only topped with some Dutch processed cocoa powder.
Yeah.
So no icing. You don't need it.
No, you don't.
It's buttery and
No, it's
rich and chocolatey, but it's not overly sweet. So, all right. Well, the first step in making this is melting the butter and
Totally.
the chocolate together. So,
Right.
get in there.
My fingers.
And we're not going to muck around with a bain marie. Just straight in there.
No. But I think more things should be like this. Imagine if, I don't know, if you could just buy a curry, but the chicken was already cut up for you, the onions already done, everything was already done, the spice mix was there, and everything was in a little box, but it was all fresh, and so you didn't have to chop anything or do anything, but you just had to put it together. So you still cooked it, you still went through the process.
You still feel like you did it,
Totally.
and you still get those aromas and
Totally.
the satisfaction from it.
Because people still love to cook. I think that's the main thing. I think the shopping is the hardest thing.
Yeah,
people
actually.
just don't have time to shop.
And sort of coming up with what to make, I think, is also the harder thing
Totally.
as well. Yeah.
And the wastage.
Yeah.
You go shopping, the amount of stuff that you throw out of your fridge, just you
Yeah.
go there, you buy stuff, and before you know it.
Well, yeah, and like even though these retail for $25, which I guess in the cake mix world is maybe on the upper limit, but if you were to buy an entire bag of ground almonds, an entire bag of cocoa powder, it would all add up to more than that. And so yeah.
What percentage of cocoa is in your chocolate?
It's 72.
72.
Yeah, that's nice and dark, but
Yep.
not so dark that it's too bitter.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, it's a perfect chocolate for this one. And you can see how beautiful and glossy it goes straight away.
Yeah. I would never go out for dinner without ordering dessert.
Oh, wow.
And I was looking at the French Café menu recently, and I don't know if it's still on there, but it was like a prune, Earl Grey, pear, broken pastry type dessert that looked so good.
Oh, cool.
Is that still on there?
Yeah, it's still on there.
I
It's
need to
just
come
like
back and try it.
It's sort of like a little play on a tarte tatin, really.
Exactly. I think that's why I liked it.
Yeah, I do all the components. I like a little bit of deconstruction to some degree, you know, where you can get to play with the components a bit differently. But I like to keep, you know, the essence of the dish, you know, together as well. So you know what you're still eating.
So you know what you're still eating. Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of something my grandmother would make. So yummy.
But yeah, I mean, prunes and Earl Grey and custard and caramelised pear with butterscotch sauce and pear sorbet and broken pastry with almonds and frangipane in it and stuff like that are just marriage made in heaven.
How can you go wrong?
Yeah.
Cool, in there.
Alrighty. Put that in. Watch for any splashes. Might turn that on. There you go. Okay, literally.
Easy, right?
Easy peasy. Sometimes I just increase the speed and just make sure that one is completely mixed with the other.
Yeah, and you can see that kind of coming together and changing consistency and becoming really glossy.
You know, give it a bit of a...
And I love that photo you sent me of your son with his like whole face in the mixing bowl covered in chocolate.
I think he actually loves the raw mix more than the actual finished product. But he's really started to get a love for cooking.
Cool.
You know, he sort of we get it from Farrow actually, but he actually makes this smoked fish pasta from scratch. It's one of Ray McVinnie's mixes or something like that. But he loves it, and it's got vegetables in there and smoked fish, and it's even got a little bit of mustard in the sauce and stuff like that. So if I made that for him, he would need it, but because he makes it himself, absolutely.
Oh, I wonder if he's going to be a chef.
Oh God, I hope not. I wish a better life for him than that. No, I'm only joking. He can be whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
All right, we're done.
Cool, easy as that. And I've lined your tin, so we can just pour that in and then straight in the oven.
My spatula, wherever it went.
You didn't even need to look at the recipe card.
No, it's too easy. All right.
Okay, well that's in the oven.
That's in the oven. So what are we doing now?
Now we can start constructing your dessert.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So what do you need?
I need, I'll grab my stuff.
So tell me everything that we're doing here.
Well, basically this is your cake. Like I say, don't get grumpy. So that's been cooked and dehydrated and crumbed.
Wow.
Gives some lovely little texture on some soil. And obviously, but I've kept some of the beautiful pieces of cake. I'll probably cut some bigger ones actually, and as we go through. But you know, when I was a kid, every Christmas, so I used to get in my Christmas stocking a thing called a Terry's chocolate orange. Do you know what that is?
I know exactly what that is.
And I'll tell you what.
My dad's favourite chocolate.
Really? It's my favourite chocolate. And we still do it for my kids now. But so it used to be my treat. So every year, I used to have some Horlicks, which is like a malt drink, and dip the little segments of a little Cherry's chocolate orange into the way. Delicious. I used to love that.
Wow.
And this is just really a dessert which is full of all my sort of childhood memories and the things I love that go with chocolate. So we've got some candied mandarins. We've got some freeze-dried mandarins because I love that orange and chocolate things.
Me too.
We've got some chocolate that we've scented with some orange oil, and then we've just shaved. And we've got some of your beautiful cake. I've got some roasted sliced hazelnuts, some milk powder, and my mum used to make banoffee pie, and I used to love that. So this is caramelised milk, condensed milk.
Gosh.
I just love it. And then I've got some. Basically, we've got some dehydrated chocolate. So this is just chocolate mousse that we've, just put down into a very thin sheet and dehydrated.
Beautiful.
And I've got some beautiful dark chocolate sorbet that we make ourselves. And the chocolate I'm using at the moment is beautiful chocolate. It's Hogarth chocolate from Nelson. I really like that. So I use 70% for my 70% for the sorbet, and I use a 66 for the mousse just to make the mousse a little bit creamier. And that's our mix really. So so what I'll do is I'll quickly chop a little bit of cake before I start, because we'll put this as we go.
Amazing. So this is the one you made last night?
This is the one I made last night, yeah, for sure. But you can still see it's so moist.
Yeah.
It's just it's so good.
Some people say it sort of gets better like over time, and it's
Yeah.
actually delicious straight from the fridge as well,
Yeah.
which most cakes aren't.
I know, and I normally just crack off these bits around the outside because I like these the best. But,
Crunchy bits.
but I stopped myself because we're going to use it for a shoot today. But yeah, and this is great, and this will add a nice little bit of texture. So we're going to have chocolate mousse. We're going to have like a little dehydrated chocolate.
Yeah.
We've got little bits of your chocolate cake just to add a little bit of sort of moist texture in there as well.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, I can't wait to taste it.
So we use this to be a little bit chefy, but to be honest, it's actually quite a nice technique because you put the mousse as a liquid form in here. You gas it up with a couple of gases, and what I do is sometimes you can be a little bit temperamental, but I just slowly pour it, squeeze the trigger, and lift it. And what I love to see is all that aeration will go.
Oh, that looks good.
And it'll get glossy.
Yeah.
You watch.
So that just goes in as a liquid, and then it.
Absolutely, for sure. And the
aerates
gas does the same. You can already see it's starting to change colour.
Yeah.
And
So cool.
and all that
Got
beautiful.
little, like, wobbly.
Yeah. And I've just been warming it at 40 degrees. Nothing worse than cold chocolate. You need to have chocolate at least at room temperature.
Very, very true.
So the next component is we just put a little bit of condensed milk, and then it's just all about layering some flavours.
Layering it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what I'll do first is I'll just put a few little bits of your beautiful cake before I sort of cover them up, so you get a little bit of mousse, a little bit of cake.
What's your all-time favourite dessert?
I love puddings. I love like crumbles, and I love
warm
real
desserts.
simple things. Yeah. This is your
Dehydrated.
yeah, and then I'm just going to ladle or put over a little bit of this shaved chocolate. So already we've got sort of chocolate mousse, some chocolate pieces
Yeah.
of chocolate. We've got some shaved chocolate. We've got dehydrated chocolate, the caramelized milk. And I'm just going to, and everything, just a little bit of everything. You don't need too much.
So tell me about how you make those.
Well, these are just peeled mandarin segments. So
Painstakingly peeled.
Painstakingly peeled, yeah. We just put them in a little bit of warm water. And
Yeah.
that helps the process a lot. But you don't want it too hot, otherwise you'll cook the fruit.
Yeah.
And then we just compress them with a little bit of simple syrup, like a 1-to-1 syrup.
Yeah.
And then I've just got a little flick of
Malt powder.
malt powder over the top. And these are my little shards of
Amazing.
little through there. And we just finish off with a little scoop of sorbet.
Sorbet. It's so stunning. And I love that each component in itself is actually fairly simple,
Oh,
but
very simple.
together it forms this
Very simple.
really just decadent,
I don't think you
amazing.
need to overcomplicate
No,
food really,
no,
but
you
it's just
don't.
the way you bring things to the table.
Yeah.
Just the way that you can use the chocolate mousse twice for a different textural
Exactly.
experience.
Exactly.
So have a bite.
It looks so good.
Have a teaspoon. I love to eat with teaspoons.
So do I.
Yeah, do you?
I eat like my porridge with a teaspoon.
Yeah, totally. I do too. That's good.
All right, I'll try and get a little bit of everything.
Totally.
Wow. A little bit of cake. And I'm like you, I love cold with hot.
Same.
It's so good.
You get that lovely biscuity effect from your dehydrated cake, which I really love.
Yeah. And that little bit of did you say mandarin essence in the shaved
It's
chocolate?
orange oil, yeah.
Orange oil. It's so amazing. I'm try a little bit of the, wow. And just that tiny little bit of malt powder, I can really taste
just a little
it.
bit of perfume just at the top, just to so you don't know what it is, but you get that little hint.
That's really special.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you like it.
I love it. So clever. I mean, I didn't expect anything less from you, but
Oh, thank you.
wow. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It was so beautiful.
Awesome.
Cool.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Simon.
Thank you.